So what is Artfight? In most simple words, it's an online art gifting game / event, mostly for people who like character art. Because this is the point of Artfight, to create art of cool characters for other people and perhaps get some art of your characters done for you. Attacking is exactly that, drawing or creating any other art form of a character and posting it on the site for the person to see. The teams are, I would say, for a burst of dopamine from getting points for your team when you post the attacks and to scream, "Go Stardust!" Whatever the team you got. At least that's how it works for me. You can still do friendly fire, by the way. It's all about having fun. If you're interested in joining this event, but are too intimidated by the site, I gotcha. Be assured that this tutorial is going to help you navigate through the site and make a new, fresh account and then customize it. Now, you can access the site without having an account, and you'll see that here we have some guides that I would say are very helpful to get a better hang of how the event works and the rules. You can also access them and find more stuff under the help tab at the header. I won't be going through these because it's all well written for you to understand yourself, so be sure to take a look later because reading them will make you feel less lost, and that's what we want. Here we will continue on navigation and customizing your account because that isn't as documented. To access more pages like the recent characters, you need an account, so let's make one. Just a side note that the site might have issues loading while the event is active, mostly during the first few days. So you can get a connection error, but no, it's nothing worrisome. Just continue to click refresh until it's gone. If the traffic is really bad, wait and try later. If you're registering outside of the event, you shouldn't have that issue. Unless your luck is at 0 skill points and right now the site is in an update maintenance or something. But then again, just wait and try the next day. Okay, so to make an account, you're just going to click the register button here. And here we have the basic give me your personal information page. We have some warnings here as well, that only one account is allowed per person. I would say more specifically, it's one active account that is allowed per person. The second warning is about the mailbox you use. Yes, it is recommended to use Gmail or Yahoo, but if you use a different one and the verification you will do just in a moment works for you anyway, then you have it. Only if it doesn't, you need to make yourself one of these mails. And if you run into any issues with the mail later after creating an account, then don't worry, because you can always change your mail in the settings. So yeah, create a password, strong password, and write it somewhere. Don't you dare forget it. Because if you're locked out of your account, you won't be able to artfight, pal. Also, you need to be over 13 to join artfight. So yeah, don't lie on your birthday. And if you're a toddler, then I'm so sorry, but you need to wait a bit. Okay, and once you're past this stage, once you click register, artfight will ask you to verify your email. So all you need to do is just find this type of message lying somewhere in there from Artfight, and you need to click the link inside of it. This link is going to open a new tab and should have you logged in. And you should have a message saying that your email was successfully verified or something along these lines. So apart from guides, at the homepage you can check for recent characters that have been just uploaded. You will notice that some of them have a colored name and border around their profile. When you join a team, your username and the character's name along with the borders will change to the team's team color. When viewing Artfight outside of the event, as I'm doing because I'm recording this in April, you will see the colors of the previous fight. And if you're browsing during an event, you will see the current colors, of course. Meanwhile, users with a grey color just haven't picked a team because either they didn't participate, aren't participating if it's during the event, or are new. Just like you. Also, if anything on the character's profile confuses you for now, don't worry, we'll talk about it. We will talk about submitting characters later in this tutorial. Recent characters isn't the only place to find possible targets. You go to the Discover tab to find users and characters as well. The search can be deliberate or you can use randomizers. The randomizers are a great deal, not gonna lie. I like to use them for finding characters. They give you a new random batch each time you click refresh, and what else can you ask for? There is also tag search, which to me personally is one of the best features. You sorta need to know what you want to use it, but yeah, you type in a tag and a batch of random characters will show up that were marked with said tag. What is better is that you can type in multiple tags. So for example, if I would want to draw a humanoid with horns and let's say black as the primary color, I can type all that in and get a bunch of characters fitting my wants. That's why tags are also very important to put on your own characters. On the Discovery home, you can also search for random users or characters from users with a high battle ratio. Battle ratio is basically attacks made to attacks received ratio. So high battle ratio means the user made more attacks than was gifted. This can be useful if you want to be a kind soul and make art for people who haven't received as much yet. Going back to the homepage, I want to encourage you to check in on the news from time to time. You can also find them in the help tab. You need to understand that Artfight is a site that keeps on growing and getting updated. So to keep up with any new features or important changes, you look there. Other things you will find in the news tab is the team reveal, official message about the event starting, and a resolution post after the fight ends. I would specifically be for an outlook for the team reveals that happen late June, but honestly, I prefer to wait for the reveal video on Artfight's YouTube, because it's accompanied by a cool animation each year that makes the reveal more satisfying. Meanwhile, when it comes to the news post itself, it contains cards like these ones that you can fill and promote yourself with, here in the comments or on social medias. It's just a fun community thing. I'll be moving on to your account now. Keep in mind I'm recording this on my own account, so your profile is going to be far more blank. I think the overall profile and its sections don't need explanation. I would like to explain the chosen pages from the drop down to your account though. You click the arrow next to your avatar to open it. Settings has many important tabs inside of it, and it's the place where you change your avatar, description and character permissions. We will go there, but know that the shortcut to edit your description is the very obvious edit button on your profile. That leads you to the settings anyway. Team settings. Accessible during an ongoing event. So now we have nothing here, because I'm actually recording this tutorial in April. But this page is for managing your participation. After the event starts on 1st July, you can either go here or to the current event tab to join the fight by having a team randomly selected for you. The current event tab is to the left to your username. The team settings is a shortcut, while the other is for the event in general. Here you can also quit, so go back to being a spectator, or you can reroll 2 times for a different team. Note that changing between spectator and current team doesn't consume the reroll attempts. Now there's an info bit I think is worth giving. Past year's Artfight gave you an ability to choose your preferred team before 1st July, after the themes were revealed, so late June. I would be on an outlook for that too. Bookmarks. This one is fun. You will use it like all the time. Cause let's say you find a cool character, but you need a way to save them. You can do that by bookmarking. I will probably show you how it's done. Yeah, it's easy and great. You can sort your bookmarks. The bigger the number you put on a bookmark, the bigger importance you give it, and the closer it will be to the start. You can also make up to 7 folders for further sorting of your bookmarks. I personally like to create a hit list folder for characters I'm sure of I will attack this year, and category bookmarks like human, anthro, etc. Actually, I want to break my anthro and humanoid folder into 2, so I will show you how you create a folder along with it. You can pick its title, optional description, custom color, and even a preferred icon now. You just need to write a name that's available under this link. For example, wine glass, and here it is, lit. That's lit. Subscriptions. This one is for when you start following people. Yes, you can follow people on this site. Here you can find new info about attacks or characters they've posted, or also character updates they made. Good to stay on board with what your friends are onto, or the people you just like viewing content from. You can disable updates from chosen people. You can manage that by going to their profile and clicking manage follow and then follow settings. And you can toggle character and attack updates that show up in the subscriptions page. Moving on, we will go to settings now. Before we go into customization, I'm going to talk about filters for a moment. So yeah, filters. Something very useful to keep you comfortable on the site, preventing you from seeing stuff you might not want to see. There are different categories of filters and people should put them on attacks, character, images, or whole characters if they need it. For each category, you can select either of the three options of filtering. Show and hide are self-explanatory. With censor, the character, attack, or image will have a censor thumbnail over it, so you can choose whether you want to view it or not. You could have or not seen some cover thumbnails when looking through posted characters before, because by default all categories are censored for you. Why is there a separate option to filter the whole character? Well, when you put a filter on an image, it results in a censored thumbnail that only covers the filtered image, while the character's profile can still be accessible. But sometimes there's a need for you to filter out the whole character, because their whole design or shared in the description details need to be filtered. Because we have the filters right in front of us for you to manage, I'm going to give you a quick description on each of these categories, so you can make up your mind now whether you want to see some stuff or not. Please be aware that the filtering rules are more specific, so you will need to go to the filters guide to read more about the categorization anyway, when you're going to start submitting images yourself. Gore moderate, just blood. Gore extreme, damage that is more than blood. Body horror, all creepy body deformations, also parasites. Nudity moderate. Oh, this one is interesting, because you need to know that Artfight has this policy that says all nipples need to go under this filter. So male, female, just any character with humanoid nipples, oh, this is important, that humanoid nipples, falls under this. Saying because you might be okay with that. Nudity extreme. This one means genitalia. Suggestive themes. Suggestive posing, anything one might consider suggestive. This one can be pretty subjective, honestly. Eye strain. Anything that might hurt your eyes. You can upload GIFs to Artfight, so flashing lights, for example, fall under this category. Sensitive content. All other niche stuff that would need its own separate category, so they put it into one filter. Some common phobias, self-harm. Okay, once we are after the filters, you will notice that inside the settings we have many other tabs, but I won't be going through each thing inside here, as I believe most of it is straightforward. So please look at the stuff yourself. I will be only talking about the customization part. Yeah, let's finally get to it. Okay, so how do you change your avatar? You can upload either PNG or JPG or a GIF file as your avatar. The size of the avatar should be 100 per 100 pixels or smaller though. So when you have an image or a GIF, you need to mess up its resolution to this very low value. On Windows, you can easily do it by taking the file, opening it with Microsoft Photos, and clicking the resize or change resolution button, and giving it the 100 per 100 pixel size. This method works for both images and GIFs, by the way. Honestly, it's better to just have the image or GIF cropped into a quadratic format beforehand, so the quality drop isn't as severe. Another way is to create a 100 per 100 canvas in a drawing program and import your image there and manually resize it. For GIFs, you will need a video editing program in which you can change the exported resolution. When you have the file ready, you just pick it here and you'll be met with a window like this to crop it. Once you position it how you want to, be sure to click the upload button to finalize the change. If you want to change for a different file, just click the select file button again. And if for any reason you change your mind and want to keep the old avatar, just quit or refresh the page. Please don't click the remove avatar button, because that will just remove your current avatar and go back to the blank one. Now onto your description. You will find it in the profile tab. Here you can also insert links to your social medias or to your custom site. All of that will appear below your description. I'm also going to show you another way how to create links to your stuff, the way I prefer to do it. So yeah, let's go to the profile description. To not pass out from lack of space trying to edit it in this small box, click this 4 arrows icon to open the full view. Swish, my old description is gone. Let's go through some stuff here and make a new one. I won't be lingering on the obvious stuff, but know that you can change the style, formatting, the letter size and color. Oh, and an important note. When it comes to color, be sure not to use pure white or pure black, cause extremes are difficult to see on light or dark mode. The default text color will look white when you're using dark mode, as I do, but it will change to black with light mode. Meanwhile, giving it the white color would make it white even in light mode. To not mess up on that, cause for now you cannot just change to default color, you either have to delete all formatting with this button to go back to the default color, but then you also get rid of the other changes. Or either way is to just use a gray color for all your text. I'll be doing that from now on. Okay, in another segment you can create the bullet or number lists and also a table if you need one. Then these two are something no one uses, I guess. So don't worry about these. Okay, apart from this, we have the last stuff here. A button to quickly insert a horizontal row, button to insert an image, button to insert a link to a selected text, button to delete said link, and insert artfight specific emojis, stamps. You can paste basic emojis here as well. Also, at the end you have a button to view and edit the code. But I won't be going into that, especially because artfight is just about to switch from BB code to HTML, so what I'm showing here is outdated. But don't worry about this stuff, really, you don't have to understand it. You don't need to write code manually here, as most stuff is already for you to use with the buttons at the header we just went through. The only thing I found useful from the BB code is the BR thing, because it basically makes a line break, so I use it for spacing for my description. After the HTML change, I'm pretty sure it's just going to look like this. So this is the only thing that I would share with you that you can use as a substitute for the horizontal divider. So you need to know that you need links to insert images or GIFs. So the image needs to be somewhere on the web, on the internet basically. You can insert anything that's already uploaded. For example, people go to Tumblr to find different funky stuff like icons or animated icons. Remember, you need to open the image in a separate page, because it needs to have a file name at the end of the link for the insert to work. When you don't specify any values, the image will have its original size. If you do, be sure you only apply one of the size values to prevent scratching. If you give only one, then the other will adjust automatically, unless you want scratching. So, if you want to insert your own images to your description or to comments, because you can also insert images to comments, you need to have them uploaded somewhere. The most common sites I've seen are FileGarden and Imagur. I think this is what it was called. So, what do you actually put in your description? I just rewrote my own, so feel free to take inspo from that if you wanna. Or look what other people put in their descriptions. This is how I get some inspo. Also, like I promised before, here is how I like to put my social links. Write the name and put a link to it. You can put your nickname or name, age, pronouns, what you enjoy drawing, what you cannot draw, some info about your characters and their story, whether you do friendly fire, revenge chains, even some interests of yours if you wanna share. and optionally any aesthetic splatter with all the static or animated images. Honestly, it's your thing, so do whatever you want, just don't leave it blank. I will move on to character permissions now. What are these anyway? So, just like with filters, there might be things you are okay with or aren't okay with for how other people can portray your characters. And this is the most common way to write your permissions. Yes and no sections. Sometimes I see people only write what they disallow. It's definitely the first thing you want to start with. If there are any things you don't want to see with your characters, be sure to write it here. Apart from stuff that is in the filters, like gore, nudity, suggestive themes, there are a few other common things that are great to mention whether you allow or not. That is gender swapping, so drawing the character as the opposite gender, species swapping, for example, anthro to human or vice versa, alternative universes, for example, if your characters are in a fantasy setting, but someone makes a modern or sci-fi designs for them, and shipping, so pairing your characters in a romantic pair. Important note that anyone below 18 cannot allow or also post content that contains extreme nudity, genitalia, or suggestive themes. Another note for people above 18, by the time I'm recording this, fetish content, as some fetishes are allowed on artfight, falls under the suggestive themes category. So if let's say you would be okay with other suggestive content, but not fetish content, you need to specify that. There are also specific character permissions that you can set up for each character. This can be useful when some stuff from the general/global permissions isn't okay or is okay for that specific character. If you do put some specific permissions later, it's better to leave a comment here that says check specific character permissions too. Or you can even make a separate section for it. No unless allowed in specific permissions, or yes unless disallowed in specific permissions. Again, feel free to get inspired by how I or how other people organize their permissions. Also for me, the yes section is for stuff that I not only allow, but even encourage. Let's upload your silly critters to your profile now. You can submit a new character by clicking the submit button at the header of the site. I will go over each thing here to make sure you aren't confused. Of course, you need to give the name of your character, and you can give them a description. Like some additional notes about their design, quick description of their personality, or just the personality traits. Other info you deem relevant about them, like parts of the backstory, current deal in the story. Then you have the specific permissions I was talking about before. Here you can mention all the stuff that's allowed or disallowed for this specific character. You can leave it blank if you don't want to add anything here. You can disable the global permissions on this character's profile too, if the specific permissions are so out of touch with the general ones that you need to write them from scratch. Then we have an option to share a link. This link can be anything really, and is purely optional. It can be a music playlist for this character, the extended profile on a different site like Toy House. Be aware that you can also put such links in the description above too. No one is stopping you. Then we have the character filters. Again, you should use this only when some details in their description needs to be filtered, like mentions of abuse, self-harm, some gory details, or when the general design you're posting needs to be filtered because let's say your character is a creepily disfigured monster. Credits. As the default, you will have it marked that you designed this character. You only click the no option if somebody else designed them for you, then you need to credit them here. What is a species sheet? Well, if you don't know what that is, then you don't need to worry about it because you probably don't have it. A species sheet is, for example, a full document, visual guide, going over details for your own created fictional species. Then we have the additional credits. For example, if your character is a fun character existing in a well-known universe, you need to mention that here and give credit to the original creator of said universe and story. Finally, we can choose the image. Main image is the whole image, can be any resolution. Thumbnail, if you want to specify one, needs to be 200 per 200 pixels. So, same methods we used for our avatar. You either scale it down with some tools on your desktop or in a drawing editing program. Remember to mark it for filters if the image needs any. If the image you're submitting is already like the main image, then it's good to already give it a thumbnail that is basically going to be the profile picture of your character that will appear on your profile and anywhere on the site. And at the end you can insert some tags. What is your character? Are they human, humanoid, anthropomorphic, so anthro, feral, something more specific like a vampire? What is the primary color used for their design? In what environment story they exist in? Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, features or things they possess, tail, glowing eyes, piercings, spots, just the vibe, space, dark, cute. Figure something out. Once you fill the information, you just click the button below to submit them. Now you can go to your profile, scroll down to see your characters, and click the one you've submitted to view their profile. Here you can edit them. By editing, you can also add more images to their profile. You upload a new image down here with the same steps as before. Be sure to click the submit button to actually upload it. At the bottom you can reorder your images and also edit them. And yeah, on top here you can also choose the main image and the character's avatar. That's why it's good to have a thumbnail on one of these images that you want to use as the avatar for your character. There's another thing that you can add to your character once you submit them, and that is connections. Connections are basically relationships with other characters. You can connect your character with your other characters, or if you allow it, other people can connect your character with their own. You need the other character's ID to connect them to your current character. You will find that on their profile next to their name. It's this string of numbers. You can click the copy button to copy it. Connections can have short descriptions too. Use that to describe the relationship between these two. You can manage all your characters by going to the drop-down of your profile and clicking characters in the manage section. Here you can also change their order on your profile. Be aware that when people go to your profile, they're going to see the first 6 characters. So it's better to put your faves at the front. The last thing I want to explain about characters is the difference between hiding and archiving a character. Hide will keep all their images, descriptions, everything, but hide them from search tabs and your profile. Archive will also hide them, but only keep the name, credits, and comments made on their profile. Everything else will be deleted. Honestly, I don't get the archive option myself, but that's on me. I cannot show you the details on attacking as you cannot submit attacks outside of the event. Maybe I will put a link in the description to a different tutorial on attacking itself, but it's easier than it seems like. All you need for attacking is the person's username, the character ID, and the attack guide on rating. It's even easier these days, because you can just go to the character's profile, the one character you just drew, and click the attack button there. That will automatically fill out the username of the artist and the ID for you. Then you just need to fill out the information needed for rating your attack for points. What art medium you used, what portion of the character you portrayed, how finished the piece is. Everything about rating your attack you will have explained in the attack guide. And of course don't forget the filters if the artwork needs it. This is the last reminder to check the artfight guides that I mentioned at the start of this video. Alright, that would be it. I didn't just spend days on this one. I'm so tired. If you have any more questions, feel free to chat in the comments. And I hope this video made you less scared to participate in Artfight. Join the epic battle now!